Alright, chat, we're trying something new today. Yuji versus Yuta, right? Or Yuta versus Yuji, depending on which way the thumbnail is gonna be. But usually I'd be doing a Demon Slayer topic, but today I decided, let's go with Jujutsukaisen. It's not something I do a lot, and I'm definitely want to start getting into it more, right? So bear with me if I make a few mistakes, but I doubt I will. So I'm going to be changing the criteria a little bit since it's Jujutsu Kaisen and not Demon Slayer. This time we'll be going by 4 points, and the 4 points will be physical stats first, ability second, third would be their domains and how a domain clash would go, along with other factors in it, and then the fourth is of course the conclusion. Mind you, I'll try to be as clear as I can as possible, but the main reason why I'm mainly doing this topic is due to the fact that I've seen like a lot of people out there like not understand how this goes, and they kind of just glaze the character they like the most. So I'm gonna try and give my most unbiased opinion on both, with all of the evidence I've gathered so far. So first we'll go over physical stats, and the character I feel like that takes this is Yuji. You know, it's kind of explanatory by itself. Due to Yuji not being already not being super far behind Yuta before his awakening and physical stats, his awakening should give him a significant amp enough to be past Yuta in physical stats at least, since he was already naturally superhuman with cursed energy, with like cursed energy already enhancing his stats, and you put the awakening on top of that, he should be above Yuta in this category. I wouldn't even go as far to say should. He is above Yuta in this category. He definitely is. And that even goes further to say like how he's very dominant in the fight. Like the entire fight against Sukuna, he's very very dominant with his physical prowess. I feel like they're relative in combat speed at least, but like where it comes to strength, I don't think they're relative in it. And in overall toughness, Yuji's definitely tougher than Yuta. But yeah, I think Yuji takes that clearly. Abilities, let's go. Alright, so with abilities and arsenals, I'll just start listing them off. I'll go with Yuta first, where his arsenal consists of Rika, Curse Speech, Shikigami, Sky Manipulation, Jacob's Ladder, G War Staff, Shrine, RCT, along with Endless Curse Energy and Curse Energy Reserves. Now, I'm about to go over Yuji's, right? Blood Manipulation, Shrine, and RCT. Yes, that like comparing that to Yuta, that does sound very underwhelming. So, as you heard, Yuta does have majority of the abilities over Yuji, and the the quality of his abilities are over Yuji's as well, since one of Yuji's best abilities are his curse technique Shrine. Yuta also has, so they can both use that. On top of that, it's just, you got his RCT and his RCT output and his endless curse energy and curse energy reserves. So I'd probably give this to Yuta, just due to the fact that his abilities are all very like kind of overwhelming compared to Yuji's abilities, where it's just blood manipulation and shrine. Right. So third, let's explain their domains. First, Yuta's domain allows him to have countless katanas imbued with copied curse techniques, being able to use them with no restrictions, and also serves as a sure hit effect of the domain. Yuji's domain is pretty weird actually. There's not much information given to us about it, but we are certain it has a short hit dismantle attack for his domain, so it has a short hit effect at least. So how I think this will play out with their domains is if they domain clashed, right? If they domain clashed, I don't think Yuji has a domain where it's refined to the point where he'd beat Yuta in a straight up domain clash. And this is due to the fact that Yuji's domain is just probably a lot bigger than Yuta's. So it's stated by Mei like if your barrier is bigger, it can be like less refined, you could say, or like less stable. And on top of that, I just feel like Yuta has more experience with, like, Yuta should have more experience with his domain, and I just feel like wavering or putting cursed energy into the topic as well, or into that little discussion, you also gotta put it into the discussion that Yuta has boundless like types of curse energy. So you gotta put those two together. So you could kind of just assume, or you could say that Yuta would have a more refined domain, which would make him win the domain clash, right? But in my personal opinion, I don't think it would be a comparison. I think Yuta just like wins it regardless. Just due to his cursed energy in general. So, you know, if Yuta wins this um domain clash, he could hit him with various curse techniques. On the lines of Jacob's ladder to remove his own curse technique, sky manipulation, curse speech to even get an attack off, or just jump him with Rika while he's in his domain. Because like, Yuta would be more amped in his domain expansion. So, it's just a more physically improved Yuta on all sides of the board, right? So, and then the other option, how I feel like it could go, which isn't in Yuta's favor, I mean, isn't in Yuji's favor either, I apologize, is that if Yuji pops his domain and Rika is outside of the domain, assuming Yuta would have Rika out since, that's its strongest form, even though it's for 5 minutes. If Yuji pops the domain and Rika's outside the domain, Yuta could just pull a big brain play out and use Rika to slam the outside of it, which would just leave Yuji burnt out without his CT, where they could just jump him and leave him helpless due to the fact that he doesn't have his curse technique anymore. But that only happens if Yuta's smart enough to say, just like let Yuji pop his domain, doesn't pop his, and waits and allows Rika to just destroy the barrier itself. So then Yuta would just, Yuta and Rika would just pummel him, do whatever, use a curse technique, Jacob's ladder, or one of Rika's love blasts. That could work. But honestly, my end result and conclusion of how I think this fight would go, is Yuta would just win due to like out hexing the hell out of Yuji, on top of already having a refined domain and Rika being a huge factor. I don't think people realize how much of a factor Rika plays, since she's on the level of Yuta himself. So Yuji would have to deal with two opponents along with such infinite amount of cursed energy on top of that. So it's like Yuta could keep refilling his cursed energy amounts and keep healing himself, keep doing more damage, keep using other curse techniques. It's like, for that 5 minutes, Rika would be out. Like, Yuji would be in trouble even with his, new awakening. But I think Yuta still is clear. Yuji just due to his abilities and his domain along with his arsenal and experience. But I do think with his physicals, Yuji would probably give Yuta a problem somewhere along the way, since Yuji is known to be tougher, stronger, and faster than most of his opponents, since he's like his God-given supernatural talent to be superhuman. But I think he would 100% still win for sure, just due to all the reasons I listed off. But that's just my thoughts and take on the topic. That's all, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. I'll be trying to do more JJK content because I actually find it more fun. Although there might have been a lot of things I might have messed up on, or I might have been a little bit more broad. If anything, you could give me some feedback in the comments. I'd honestly appreciate it and I love it. But I'm going to keep reading and rereading it, so I'm more in tune with the manga and in tune with my takes and how to explain them a lot better, if I did a poor job at explaining it this time. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I will check you guys out next time.